gonna give in now. I think gonna live this now. I'm gonna be when I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in the ring when I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the whip. Cause I am just up on the journey, just know that I'm just going to say.
Warriors, rise, grand rising. Good evening, Warriors all over the world. Excited to be with you guys on this. What is the date today? July 22nd, 2024. Remember, this is the last July 22nd, 2024 you are ever going to have. Excited to be with you guys. This is a live show I've been doing every single Monday now, as I will be traveling next week. Was I traveling last week? I think I missed it last week. I was traveling and I'll be traveling next week. So if I'm in town and I'm stationary, we'll be doing the live show. So this is just to connect with you guys. I got my comments open here. I'll be going over some news, just to connect. You know, we can talk about spirituality, cryptocurrency, life, whatever you want to. This is our opportunity to connect for the next hour. So, hey, what's happening, Wendy? How we doing? Chronic CJ4Y. We got Alfred in the house. Much love to you as well. So we're going to dive into some news. Let some people get on here. Share with you guys next Monday. I will be traveling. So we have our Merlin meeting out in Connecticut, and I just got back from a massive insurance conference, which was absolutely amazing. And we got a lot of things going on within our paradigms. Good morning, Web3 Fits. So I'll be breaking down some news. Then once we get into it, I will be answering some questions over here in the comments. So, man, holy moly. Since last time we met, there's been a attempted former presidential assassination. We've heard that Trump may be tapping Jamie Dimon as Treasury Secretary, and now I'll be reporting tomorrow, maybe Larry Fink. It's like we're going to go from Biden to Janet Yellen, as I think Gonzo calls her Tweety Bird, from Tweety Bird to Trump, either Jamie Dimon or maybe Larry Fink as the Treasury Secretary. That is a massive, massive shift. Now, we need to grow our way out of the economy, but what I have here up on the screen here says Elon Musk fans, wild rumors that Donald Trump will create a U.S. Bitcoin strategic reserve and trigger crypto price chaos. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into that. I mean, how quickly has the narrative changed? Think about that. Trump was not pro-crypto, right? He's like, I'm pro-dollar. And then all of a sudden, everything just shifted, right? Larry Fink brought us into a Bitcoin ETF in 2023. He admitted, he said, listen, I was wrong. I was wrong about Bitcoin. I was wrong about cryptocurrency. And then he said it's a flight to quality. Now, remember, Larry Fink was a former money manager for Trump, right? And then all these rumors started stirring around maybe Jamie Dimon, maybe Larry Fink. But what we do know is we truly, truly need to grow our way out of this economy. So let's cover a little bit more news. If you guys have any questions or comments, I'll be reading the comments in just a moment, diving into this. And I'm just doing this to connect with you guys. I really have made a commitment in 2024 to not only connect more with you guys on live, but also to dive deeper into my personal life. So we're going to be doing we're launching what's called 3T Media. We're going to quadruple our media, which is absolutely amazing. So we got our 4K camera here. We're in our studio. We're going to be building out our whole media side of our business. And I'll be doing more day in the life type stuff. So camera crew following around, things that I do in my personal life, my training, like, for example, with my coach, we're doing, we do some boxing training, we do fitness, mindset, all kinds of different stuff. And so I'll be taking you guys into that as well. And if it's not interesting, oh, well, I'm going to do it anyways. So this is the next thing I want to show you guys right here. And, let me know in the comments if you think that'll be interesting, but we're going to be doing it anyways. And more to document my own journey in the spiritual awakening and this macroeconomic. When I look this way, am I looking that way? That's weird. My camera's over here. So I'm looking at my screen this way. Okay, media team, if you're watching, we got to flip that. So I'm looking this way and it's looking that way. My screen is actually over here. I don't even, that's funny. All right, we're getting all this media stuff lined out. Okay, so we want to listen to this together here. It says, just in, CNBC discusses the idea of U.S. potentially holding Bitcoin as a reserve currency under Trump. This is one of the biggest rumors that's flying around Twitter. Let's check this out.
And so, yeah, he's going to speak very positively about Bitcoin here at the conference.
Do you think that these favorable comments could go so far as to indicate that he'd be open to it being a reserve currency for the U.S.?
Yeah, so there were some rumblings of that on X this week. It could be something that's very difficult to get done, but it is possible. The Justice Department holds about 200,000 units of Bitcoin. So the United States is the largest holder of Bitcoin. And so they could easily just move that over to the Department of Treasury and start right there and have 13 billion worth of Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So it is a possible move. It just could be tough to get done. But what happens is the Justice Department, in holding these units of Bitcoin, they've been a random seller in the space. And so if they move from being a random seller at times, which could push the price of Bitcoin down, over to being a long-term hodler, well, that could be really good for the space and push prices up.
That'd be interesting. They hold 200,000 Bitcoin. And so what they're saying is they're random sellers of it, which obviously any liquidity goes into the market, which is going to lower the price, supply and demand. But if they became long-term hodlers of it, man, I got to fix this. Sorry, I'll fix it next time. I don't know why. I'm looking this way and it's inverted. So let me check my settings real quick while we're doing this here. Let me see if I can fix that. Oh, mirror my camera. Boom. There we go. Look at I fixed it. Man, we got this. Okay, so let's go over here. Mark Cuban calls on SEC to fire Gary Gensler, but guys, he may fire himself right here. So he might fire himself. Gary Gensler will likely resign in 2025 after Biden exit. But think about that. You know, why would you resign? If your job is to protect investors, you know, it wouldn't matter who the president was. You would work underneath your three-lettered organization to do what's right for investors. But because a regime change comes, you're going to exit. We all know that this is all political. It's all financial. And so those are things that I want to cover with you guys news-wise, but I want to jump into some comments. I want to connect with you guys. So we're just going to read through comments and we're going to cruise through here. What's up, Wendy? How we doing? Much love to you as well. God bless. Christ is King. Much love to you. And guys as well, a lot of these go into some spiritual conversations, but if you guys are interested in following my spiritual side, I have a company called Refined Integrity. We're working to redefine the modern man, divine masculine. And so that channel is down in the recommended channels down below. So it goes deep into spirituality. And I'm only expressing my own awakening. So good morning. Good morning. All right, True Van, what's happening? Everything is good, man. We just came back from Las Vegas. We had a huge insurance conference. It was absolutely amazing. Very, very excited about the future. Bird Brain, how we doing? Doing amazing, doing amazing. We're over 38 months now from May highs. Brutal, man. It's coming. Hanging tight, hanging tight. I mean, think about the narrative now, guys. I mean, like, you know, and to be transparent, I've been open about this. I got into crypto. I got introduced to it late 2019, and I started getting in really late 2019, early 2020. So, I mean, per se, I haven't been in it as long as some people have been in it. Some people in our academy have been in 2017. And that's back then it was complete Wild West. I couldn't imagine being in 2017. Like now, not only first they resist it, then they sue it, then they regulate it, right? So now we're in the suing and regulation phase, then the joining phase. So regulation and joining phase. So right now, MiCA in the EU, they already have regulatory clarity. America is like the outlier of what's going on, you know, in regards to regulatory clarity. So now we're investing in this cryptocurrency. We got BlackRock saying it's a flight to quality. We got Trump running on a Bitcoin campaign. He's going to be speaking at the Bitcoin conference. And so the reason why I bring this up is hold the line, guys. The most patient and persistent person will always, always win. So Live in Riches, what's happening? How we doing? Grand rising. Good evening to all of you guys. It's been the BTC show. I mean, BTC drives the whole market, right? So it's Bitcoin dominance, as Gonzo always teaches us. It's BTC, Bitcoin dominance. That drives everything, guys. And I've been accumulating a lot of BTC. My bags are packed in XRP, XLM, HBAR. I got QNT. I saw somebody's comment down here with Algo. I got a good amount of Algo going on. But for me, I pack my bags in my altcoins, and I'm stacking Bitcoin right now. Every time I see a dip, I get in and I dollar cost average every single day into BTC. So, and somebody said, hey, you don't talk a lot about XRP. I mean, there's not a lot of news going on. We're all just sitting kind of in a holding pattern. Not a lot of news to report around XRP, but I'm ready to see that stuff blast off. Do you think this is the last chance to make money on crypto? I think it's a good chance to get in a lot earlier than most people will be able to. Do I think it's the last chance? Absolutely not. I mean, we're still, as Johnny Crypto says from Good Morning Crypto, we're still in speculative phase, guys. We're still in an early speculative phase. I think it's the last chance in regards to before the next bull run. I don't know what the cycles are going to look like after this once regulation comes in. But I do know that we are going to continue to have boom and bust cycles. And so within our Warrior Academy, our crypto team is creating some AI portfolios. So here's the beauty in this right now. In the next 10 years, you're going to see the most radical transformations you've ever seen in human history. So the great news about that is if you understand history, you can predict the future, right? Nothing ever goes in a straight line, ever. not an investment, not your relationship, not your exercise, not any of it, right? Sometimes you're in shape, sometimes you're not, sometimes you're bloated, sometimes you're not, sometimes you're winning, sometimes you're losing. Business doesn't go in a straight line, right? Sometimes there's feast and famine, and sometimes it's massive amounts of prosperity. So if we know that nothing goes in a straight line, there's always going to be a pullback, right? And so the beauty in that is that if you do the opposite of the world, right, invert everything, if you follow those waves of energy, you're going to catch these boom and bust cycles. So cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, payment rails, things like that are going to be one of the big narratives as they change the financial system. And that's our opportunity to make a large amount of money in a short amount of time, not get rich quick, because what you do with that money is so important. So I think it's a great opportunity right now to accumulate at lower cost. But what everybody does, man, everybody's going to come rushing in when the public comes in, when everybody gets excited. So great question, by the way. Can you talk about how people can loan out their XRP, or is it too early? Ah, man. Right now, I personally think it's dangerous to loan anything in the cryptocurrency space. And I'll give you an example. And it's too volatile. You don't want to lend on anything that's super volatile. So I'll explain my mistake that I made in the 2020 to 22 bull run, and then I'll share with you my plan with Bitcoin. This is my loose plan right now with Bitcoin. So in 2020 to 2022, we were testing everything. So all of us came together, like most of us in 2021, the Good Morning Crypto Show. We had Abs, Johnny, Gonzo, Mario, all of us, Jackie, and we all came together and we started, we're testing things, doing different things. And one of the things that I tested was taking an asset-backed loan within cryptocurrency. One of the worst things I could have done during a bull market. The reason why is because there's massive price appreciation, right? But we now know that in 2022, it came collapsing down 80 to 85%. So taking a loan during a very volatile market, so, you're getting your LTV, your loan to value, right? So I put it on Nexo, all of my Ethereum on Nexo, and I did a 50%, they gave me 50% LTV loan to value. So it was quite a bit of Ethereum, and they gave me a 50% loan. The good thing is, the only thing I did right was I bought more crypto with it. That was the only thing I did correctly. And then I forgot about it. Like, it was on Nexo. That's the only thing I had on Nexo. We're just cruising along and, running our companies. And we have a lot of things outside of cryptocurrency to keep our minds busy. I don't look at my cryptocurrency every day. I'm not attached to it. And then all of a sudden I was following my exit strategies, and I was like, oh shit. I don't remember what date it was. You guys probably remember better than I do. But all of a sudden, crypto collapsed dramatically. And I was like, oh shit, my Ethereum on Nexo. And of course, they liquidated it, right? They took most of my Ethereum. There was a little bit left, but they liquidated it because I had a loan on a 50% LTV of the Ethereum. So unless you have a plan to pay that back during that time, which I wasn't paying it back, I had bought other cryptos. In my brain, I thought it was just going to keep going up. Again, learned a lesson. That will never happen again. That's how we learn. So we teach other people not to do the same thing. So all that said, if you're going to take a loan in a very volatile asset, you should wait until there is a normalization or a pullback. That would be the only time you would want to do it. You would not want to do it in 2025 in a bull market. I'm not lending out any of my crypto to anybody or anything until I see this thing is settled or there's some sort of clear regulatory clarity around it. Okay, that goes into my Bitcoin narrative. So this is just a thought, okay? So, hear me out on this. So I'm accumulating as much Bitcoin as I possibly can right now. Now, reason is my narrative switched pretty heavily in 2023, BlackRock, blah, blah, blah. Okay, got over my conspiracy theories. So Bitcoin to me is my gold. I'm using it as a gold. I have silver for bartability, and instead of going into gold, I'm going into Bitcoin. Risk, maybe, okay, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, it's a risk on, risk off asset. 80% of the supply hasn't moved. There's only 20% of the supply left, and they can't print more of it. Okay, so I'm taking a long-term risk on putting excess capital into Bitcoin. Here's my thought process. With all my other coins, I'm exiting 50% in the bull run if it hits my exit targets. With Bitcoin, though, this is my thought. It's just something I'm walking through. I think I'm going to hold it long-term forever. I'll probably pull my initial investments out as much as I can, but I most likely will hold it. Number one, I don't have to pay any capital gains on it. But if we look at the macro view of Bitcoin, it just continues to go up. And if it's truly going to continue to be a risk on, risk off asset, 80% of the supply not moving, they can't print it. In simple terms, it should just keep going up, right? The more scarce it becomes, the more countries use it. If they do use it as a reserve asset, it will just continue to gain value. So think about this. What if, when the markets settle, I borrow against my Bitcoin? Check this out. I thought about this. borrow against, not financial advice, but this is what I may do. Borrow against my Bitcoin, buy a real estate property, have the renter, it's paid cash, have the renter pay back the loan. So now I have an appreciating asset that the renter's paying for. The renter's paying back the loan and my Bitcoin's appreciating. So now I have two like almost like two properties, two commodities that are going up at the same time, right? And they're paying back and I'm getting more equity. Borrow again, boom, you pay this loan back. Boom, borrow again, you pay this loan back. Does that make sense? Is that making sense to everybody? Let me know if that makes sense. But that's where my brain is going with it. So currently right now, I'm dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin every single day. So I buy it every day. Money comes out of my account. I buy Bitcoin. It's just every day it comes out of my account. And then when there's big dips, I buy it. I'm convincing myself that's what I'm going to do. So I wouldn't lend out any of my crypto right now. That's just my opinion. When does XRP? Great question. So they wrapped up, all the filming is completely wrapped up now. They said probably fourth quarter. Shit, we're almost there, man. October, November, December is fourth quarter, right? Yep. So we're probably about 2 months away. So they're shopping streaming services. There's all these rumors it was going to be on Netflix. It may be, who knows? It's gotten like 1.5 million views a trailer, and it's pretty cool. And I feel, based on watching documentaries on Netflix, this thing is so well done. It goes all the way from grassroots creators like us, influencers, the Good Morning Crypto Show, all the way up to David Schwartz. And so it's really neat. So it's not just like, there's a lot of comments on, on Twitter or whatever. It's not just grassroots influencers. They talk to developers. They talk about somebody's part of ETHgate, used to be part of ETH and ETHgate, and they talk all the way up to David Schwartz. So this is a very, very well done documentary. I'd be shocked if it doesn't hit Netflix, but we're looking at about fourth quarter. So I think, how cool would that be if the case settles in September and then boom, this documentary drops in October. But don't quote me on that, but it should hit in 2024, which is going to be pretty remarkable. Algorand, is that yes, Algorand is great. Tokenization of assets. I mean, they talk about it all the time. It's tokenizing. It's like the way you look at it is tokenizing the stock market, right? Everything's gonna be tokenized. I believe Algorand's gonna be a big part of that. What's up, brother? Abs, the greatest host in human history. I love you so much. I'll see you in 24 hours, man. We are heading to the lake house for our company, Merlin. And so we're going to be breaking bread together. So it's one of my kids' favorite trips. So we head out there with the executives and chop it up, man. Can't wait to see you. Yes. What's up, Abs? How you doing? What are your thoughts on, I said that one already. Boom, boom. Let's see. Can you help with honest amount, not percentages of XRP we should be leaving long-term to capitalize on holdings, ledger, and okay, great question. This is extremely helpful, even though everyone's finances are different. I like this question. So I'll just share with you what I'm doing. I think this is a very fair question, and I'll explain to you guys exactly what I do, even though I explain it nauseum on the back end of every video. Now, I'll share with you guys something that's interesting. When I create a plan, I stick with it. The actual life that I'm living now, to include my Rockefeller Trust, to include the insurance and everything that I do, was a plan that I built when I was broke on my parents' couch. I actually have the PowerPoint that I built out, and I'm actually living it. So that's one thing that's really, really important. Create a plan, put it on paper, even if it's not true yet. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind, becomes your unconscious activity. My unconscious activities and the reality that I'm living is the things that I program my subconscious mind to. Okay. So absolutely great question. So I am holding 50% of all my cryptocurrencies long-term, to include XRP. Okay. I'm exiting 50% of the market. The only reason I'm exiting, because I have a plan with every single dime that I'm exiting the market with, which is very important. Okay. If you believe in crypto for the long term and you don't have a plan outside of it, and you choose I don't think anybody should just be in a vertical strategy. That's called hope, right? And I'll give you an example of that. Going to school, get a job, get a 401k, and hope that the market will be favorable when you retire. Well, how about those people in 2005 to 2008 when the market collapsed? Like, imagine your poor parents. They worked their ass off for 40 effing years, and all the work they did down here gets completely destroyed up here because the banks aren't being regulated, right? So that's hope. So anytime we profit in an asset, especially in a very boom and bust type cycle, I feel personally you should get money off the table. I really do. If you have a game plan. So I'm pulling 50%, and I'll get into your question with the 50% I'm holding, or the 100% that you're going to hold maybe. So I'm pulling 50%. I'm pulling it down the risk pyramid. Everybody should study the risk pyramid. On the bottom of the risk pyramid, there's tier 1 capital. You've got insurance, you have bonds, you have Real estate's a little bit higher. So if you go up a little bit higher, there's real estate. The higher you go up the risk, the higher the return. Crypto is a shining star, highest risk, high return right now, right? So I'm pulling 50%, paying Uncle Sam. I'm bringing it down. I'm max funding my index universal life policies. I'm a user of it. I use it myself. I'm only telling you exactly what I do. I have a very strict plan with my policy. I have multiple policies. My kids have policies. We're set up with our policies. Okay. From there, I'm diversifying more into business to create more cash flow. Okay. And then on top of all of that, I have the Rockefeller Trust. So in business, we're in information, technology, attention, and education. When I profit from businesses, I don't go buy Lambos and big houses. I put it back into the asset market. And the only time I will start to buy things that I want, at some point I'll get it. I love supercars. I love fast cars. I want it. I don't need it. Anything I want has to be paid for by an asset. So if you ever see me driving a supercar at some point, that means that somebody else is paying for that supercar. That makes me patient. It makes me disciplined because I take every bit of my earned income Wednesday and Friday from my companies, from my Freedom Asset Manager group that pays me for my companies. I put it back in the capital markets and I keep that process going. Okay. With the 50% that I will hold long term. So what I will be doing personally, as we were talking about, is I will be staking to make interest income. Should never let your money just sit there ever. And I'll be lending out. I'll be borrowing against those assets when the market stabilizes to buy more assets, right? That's how you get tax-free money. Okay. So now pulling the 50%, remember there's short-term and long-term capital gains. Consult your tax professional, but almost all of my altcoins are going to be in long-term capital gains, right? So I have a plan with that money to multiply it, richest man in Babylon. Now, Bitcoin, I've been accumulating recently, so there'll be a lot of being short-term capital gains. So it makes sense for me to hold it longer. So I hope that makes sense. But I think what you're asking is you should always make your money make money. Always. Okay. Sorry. I get paid by my companies on Wednesday and Friday. I keep very little cash in my bank. If someone saw my bank account, they'd be like, I have hardly any money in my bank account. Every single time it hits, I'm allocating it out and then I'll be max funding my policies. Now, why do I use insurance? Compound interest, eighth wonder of the world. Every 10 years, every 7 years at 10% money compounds. I can borrow against the cash value tax free. Okay. Compound, and it protects my principal, right? Rule number one, don't lose money. Rule number two, follow rule number one, Warren Buffett. So that works for me. Key is they have to be funded properly and they have to be set up properly and you have to fund it properly. That's where a lot of the caveats come in. Christ is king. Amen. Christ is king all the time. What do you think is going to happen? What will we have a black swan since they're going to try to make first female president? She's probably don't like crypto. I honestly, this is my honest opinion. I might get blowback from this, but I think we're all being played, man. I think this is all planned out, man. I mean, it doesn't matter which president comes in. Crypto is here to stay. Crypto's here to stay. There is no way. Take out the presidential election. There's no way we can move into AI technology. We can't move into this new system that's already in place without crypto and blockchain, right? The right with Trump and maybe Jamie Dimon or Larry Fink as the Treasury Secretary or anybody else and JD Vance, it's going to be much more accelerated because they're going to grow us out of the economy, right? I think what I'm hearing you say here too, the person with Christ, yes, Christ is awakening right now. There's a separation of consciousness. It's going to be an amazing world in the next 10 years. It really, really is. We're going to grow our way out of this economy. And for this group that's paying attention, holy shit, if you do it correctly, congratulations, man. You're going to be that legend sitting there on your porch, rocking back and forth. You're like, my grandma or grandpa was a legend, right? I mean, if you accumulate a little bit of this stuff and you just hold it long term. So I think there's going to be a lot of black swans, man. I mean, it's part of this transition, guys. It's like I don't want to get too deep into it because, well, I don't want to get the YouTube channel deleted, but you guys know what I'm saying. I think we understand. Birds of a feather fly together, man. There's a systematic change happening right now. There's problem, reaction, solution. Whoever creates a problem creates a reaction to people is the same person who comes up with a solution. That's why of course, is this stuff important to look at and report on? Because yeah, it's my freaking finances, man. It's my family's future. But I don't get caught up waiting for this or that. What I get caught up in is being extremely disciplined on my actions, my behaviors, and my discipline and my consistency. We became wealthy with Biden as president. Didn't stop me from becoming wealthy, but I know thousands of people that have been waiting for a savior to come back when they could have been getting their shit together. Guys, when I went broke in 2020, when they shut my business down, that's what pissed me off. I had crypto. I didn't touch my crypto. So let's take crypto out of it. So they shut my business down. I finally, the American dream, I finally did it. And they come and shut our doors down because one of our part of our facility is a gym, right? And I said, fuck this system, man. Excuse my language. I was like, fuck these people, man. I'm like, screw left, screw right. I'm getting my shit together. And I started studying everything I could around money. Guess where I went? To the library. I got a library card and I started reading every book I could on wealth. And I started to see a pattern. Number one, you cannot live your life trading time for money. You'll always be broke. Number two is you can't be in a vertical strategy. There is no wealthy person that has a 401k or a Roth IRA. If you make over $250,000 a year, you can't even have one. So wealthy people don't have 401ks or Roth IRAs. They don't buy things or they don't get debt. They only get debt when it creates assets to make money, right? They have foundations. We have a foundation now. They have trust. They have insurance. They have real estate, right? That's the next phase for us. And I just studied and studied and studied. And I started at a macro level and I just started to add to it and add to it and add to it. Now, am I super excited about a change in the presidency? Absolutely, man. Imagine what I did under Biden, what I can do in another presidency. But that doesn't prevent me from, it doesn't matter what happens. It matters what I do. And that's one of the biggest things I hope the message I can get across to people is we run into people all the time. Well, when this person comes back, when crypto hits, well, what about now? Oh, my point behind that, my ego kicked in there. Sorry. My point behind that is that when I was on my parents' couch, I'd lost everything. I humbled myself. And I'm like, okay, can you guys let me stay here as long as I can until I get my shit together? And, I was getting into cryptocurrency and I was understanding. I'm like, I'm going to go all in. I'm like, I need to earn some income. I did Gary Vay's flipping strategy. I started realizing there's money everywhere. We're just lazy. There's money everywhere. I went and got a vacuum. I flipped it. I made $10, put it into XRP. I went and got a freaking couch off Facebook Marketplace for free. I borrowed my dad's truck, threw $5 in gas in it. I went and picked up the vacuum. I cleaned the shit out of it. Nothing else to do. I cleaned the shit out of it. I sold it for $100. I took $100 and I put it in and bought 17 cents. XRP was 17 cents. Do the math. And then I just started doing odds and ends and to earn income. And I just kept investing and I kept investing and I kept investing. And then 10,000 became whatever it became. And then here we are. But what I realized, what it allowed me to do is I stopped waiting for a savior. Christ never said he was coming back in the physical. He is here. The awakening has already happened. April 8, 2024. Christ is back. That's why you're seeing all this stuff happening. That's why you're seeing the separation in left and right. That's why you're seeing people arguing all the time. That's why you're seeing Americans turn against each other. It's a shift in consciousness. So no matter who is president, guys, the change is here. Blockchain is here. Distributed ledger technology is here. Now, is it going in the way we think it's going to go? That's going to be absolutely favorable, 100%. But even if it goes another way, you can't move into the new system with the old archaic banking system. You can't have AI. AI is coming. It's not stopping. It doesn't matter what president is. AI is here. AI has to have, if AI is moving that fast, it has to have blockchain, it has to have cryptocurrency, right? It can't transact without cryptocurrency. And so no matter what, it's going to be here. If it goes to the right, it's going to be pretty remarkable. If it goes to the left, we're going to have some bumpy roads. It's just what it is. They're resisting everything in regards to innovating in America. What's their agenda around that? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not, behind the curtain with them. But what I do know is that I can do the things that I can do for my family within this current paradigm. Algo or HBAR, which one is your opinion? Would you DCA? I just stopped DCAing into HBAR as well, if that helps you. So I had quite a bit of Algorand. I got my bags up in HBAR. I was pretty low in HBAR. So I have quite a bit of Algo, quite a bit of HBAR, and the next one, QNT right here. So if that helps at all, HBAR is so cheap right now too. I think HBAR, I accumulated both of them. So if that helps at all. XRP, XLM, LCX, Casper, DAG. You know what I love too? I love how people have, I love this right here, like Rashad. Like this feels good to him, right? And it probably feels good to him is because Rashad, his confidently saying that he's done his research around those. So when people are saying to me, they'll be like, why don't you have this one? Why don't you? It's because I haven't dove into it, and I have a very strict portfolio that I'm not changing. Right. The next thing I'll get into is AI protocols, which Gonzo and Jackie are working on some portfolios for us in the future. But there's nothing wrong with it because you don't have a crypto, right? For example, people say, why don't you have XTC? I love XTC. We know Quincy personally as a developer. I just had so much in my cryptocurrency portfolio. I had my ones I was sticking with, and I've also diversified heavily outside of crypto. Okay. Only thing I'm DCAing right now is I'm down to just Bitcoin now. So just Bitcoin. Yeah. So I just like, I think it's, instead of being tribal, and I'm not saying this is what's happening here, but it's just, if you believe in something, then stick with it. Don't let anybody sway you in and out of your cryptocurrencies. Once adoption hits, there'll be not many more chances. I agree with that. I think the type of price appreciation we're going to have is going to be very minimized. What are your thoughts on this new thing of securing your crypto with? Guys, share your opinion. I think that's a scam. Like I'm getting messages all the time around this. I need to open up my QFS account. I honestly think that's a scam. So if anybody has any insight around that, be very careful with that. I came from banking. I've never heard of anything like that. There's some deep Telegram groups convincing people they need to set up a QFS account. I've never heard of it. Maybe I'm outside the realm of knowing or needing or having that type of knowledge, but I'll just be very careful with that type of stuff. And another thing, just a disclaimer to everybody, that's not me on Telegram. That's not me on Instagram. I'll never proactively DM you. I'll never ask you about your crypto. If you DM me, I'll DM you back. But we do not invest people's crypto. We do not have an investment platform. There's thousands of scammers. We can't even keep up. We delete 10 a day and they pop right back up. And so remember that that's not me DMing you. I'll never ask about your crypto. Don't ever send anybody money pretending to be us. So, all right, Coach, do you believe divine intervention took place in Pennsylvania? What are your thoughts on the prophecy that was documented back on March 14th? I wonder if March 14th held some importance. Yeah, I think anytime someone turns their head like that right at that moment, definitely some divine intervention. And, I believe that, yeah, I do. I really do. From the bottom of my heart, I really believe that was divine intervention. I want to believe, I think I do believe that Trump is a man of God. I believe that. And I'm not saying other people aren't a man of God. I think that each person is here for a divine direction. And I think this is his fulfillment of his divine direction. I believe that. And it only makes me believe that because how things are playing out and how confident he is. And let me explain this in just a moment right now. So when somebody stands in their confidence like that, and they're truly in their embodiment, in their truth, and their authenticity, I feel that is his authenticity. And I'll give you some examples of this. Okay. When I say these names, this is not for or against, it's to give you context, right? So back in the days when I was looking for everybody, when I was trying to become something in social, I found nobody would find me. We had like 300 followers across all our, maybe 600 total, right? When I finally said, fuck everything, and I started being me, like who you see in front of you is me. That's what, guys, that's why I don't respond to haters. People can say whatever. I am me. This is my truth. I talk about microeconomics and spiritual. And the way I talk about spiritual and refine, I'm getting a bunch of blowback. It doesn't matter. This is me, right? When I found my true authenticity, everybody found me. I went viral, right? So the point behind this is some examples of human beings that you can feel they're living their authentic truth. Trump, that's who he believes, that's who he is. That's who he is, right? That's why he's so popular and polarizing. Andrew Tate is an example of that. Joe Rogan is an example of that. Russell Brand is an example of that. Tucker Carlson is an example of that. Then the opposite is true. All these people who are trying to be something or a character, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work because authenticity is the number one highest level frequency. If somebody's operating out of authenticity, they're operating in force, which causes hyperactivity and then eventually inactivity. And it's very ingenuine, right? So I do believe that that something divine happened. I mean, I was watching the hearing today around the Secret Service director, and I'm like, wow, man, there's something there. But again, I'm not going to spend my time trying to figure out the conspiracy. What I'm doing is I'm figuring out how I can get my family through this. That's what I'm working on. So you think 35,000 XRP would be good to hold, or would you stack more than that? That's a warrior's rise. I mean, that's a good amount. You're doing pretty good there. I mean, just do the math, Shoots $1, you got yourself $35,000. If it shoots to 10, you got 350,000. It shoots to 100, you got, was that 3.5 million? I'm doing the math in my head. Pretty simple math. But yeah, that's pretty solid, man. You're doing pretty well there. So it's really depending on what your goals are. So, Coach, do you believe? Yep, I do. I got that one already. Sorry about that. One more question. I notice you don't talk much about Casper. Oh, great question. Given its relationship with IBM and Boeing, they're powerhouse companies. Yeah, I don't have it in my portfolio, so I don't really have a lot of knowledge around it, and I've never dove into. That's why I don't talk about it. So, not that it's not a good project. I just have never dove into it. Again, kind of going back into my narrative. I got my cryptos. I'm sticking to them, and it may be too because I have a lot going outside of crypto. Right? I got multiple companies that I'm building. Some are doing well. Some are startups, and freaking startups take a lot of energy. So I used to be all cryptocurrency. When I got Wise Counsel, it was like, that's a vertical strategy, man. What if crypto collapses? So I have this really big game plan outside of cryptocurrency, to include my companies. And so I don't keep adding stuff to my portfolio. But when I was fully just in crypto, it was a big part. So long story short, I don't have access to Casper. I don't have exposure to it, so I don't have a lot of research around it. Not saying it's not a good project at all. So just don't have it in my portfolio. Where can you trade crypto for gold and silver bars? Great question. I will talk to my contact at ITM, my dyslexia, ITM, which is Lynette Zhang. So we have a contact there. Trade crypto for gold bars. Is that something you want to do now? I would wait, but I see what you're saying. I like that flip. I mean, I think you would have to cash out your crypto and just buy it with cash. But you're saying, like, I don't think going from one asset to another, you would still have to pay capital gains on that. So, I think you'd have to cash it out. But yeah, I don't know if there's I don't know. Sorry about that. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but all right. Should I take out a loan and put it all in XRP before the lawsuit is over, Coach? I never, ever recommend taking a loan to buy crypto. I'm not the right person to ask that. I just think it's dangerous. Very, very dangerous. I mean, it just really depends on where you're at financially. I don't think anybody should ever borrow against their future self to try to bank on a very speculative investment. Yeah, I don't know. I've never encouraged people to do that. There's a lot of influencers that do that, and shame on them. I really shame on you if you do that as an influencer. Tell people to cash out, get credit cards, no interest credit cards, buy cryptocurrency. I mean, think about this, guys. We've been holding XRP forever, and it's not done anything that we thought it was going to do yet. So it's like, what if it doesn't, my friend? And then all of a sudden you have this loan on your hands. So, yeah, I'm probably not the right person to ask that. And I hear influencers talking about that, like, oh, max out credit cards and do this. It's like, that's a very, very slippery slope strategy. It just doesn't ever work at any time. And it just energetically, it doesn't seem, if you're borrowing money to start a business to create cash flow, that makes a little bit of sense. But if you're borrowing to get cash to buy speculative assets that you're hoping, right? I'm pretty confident XRP will do what we think it's going to do. But again, yeah, I would never encourage that. I would never encourage taking loans to get crypto. Makes sense. Awesome. Basically remortgaging your Bitcoin to buy more assets. Yes. And then, yeah, it just makes so much sense to me. Of course, I'll seek wise counsel and talk to my CFO and do mathematics around it. But again, if you pull back, and if my real estate's a long-term strategy and my Bitcoin's a long-term strategy, the people inside the house are paying back this. So that's going up. This is going up. Now I have equity in here and I have equity here. They're paying back, and I could borrow again, take equity, buy more properties. Like, it makes a lot of sense to me. It really does. And so I'm glad I started getting into Bitcoin. I really am. So let's see here. What's happening, Marvin? How we doing? Crypto millionaires. That's right. Multi-millionaires. It's interesting too. I've been thinking a lot about this, guys. Like now, one thing that is very important as you grow your wealth, you have to think beyond $1 million. Like if your paradigm is like, wow, $1 million is a lot of money. $1 million is not a lot of money anymore, guys. You got to shift your paradigm to be like to live like a millionaire 10, 15 years ago. You're going to need to be a multi-millionaire, right? So you got the, 7 figures, you got 8 figures, and you got 9 figures, right? So then There's going to be billionaires that I believe are going to become trillionaires. There might be some trillionaires out there. Maybe let me know if there is. I'm not sure if there is, but there's going to be the billionaires, going to be the new trillionaire. Multimillionaire is going to be close to being a billionaire, right? Or high, double digits. And $1 million, it's not a lot of money, guys. If you retire with $1 million at 4% interest, that's $40,000 in retirement income. $1 million goes like that. I mean, one of our companies alone costs us $600,000 a year just to keep open, right? With inflation and 19%, that's a struggle, man. So don't think, do think bigger. Like, I'm not saying this has nothing to do with what you're saying. Crypto millionaires, multimillionaires, guys. And some of you may be multimillionaires after this bull run. So that's our opportunity to multiply this money, man. So I just want to bring that paradigm thing up. Which cryptos do you like going forward? I love XRP. I love Bitcoin. Big fan. I love XLM, man. I'm a big fan of XLM. HBAR, QNT, all the ones we mentioned, Algorand, VeChain. I love VeChain. I love the CEO of VeChain. I love supply chain. I'm just really into business and supply chain. And I came from banking, so I love payment rails. I think that's pretty powerful. So after exiting 50% and purchasing revenue assets, are you going to buy back in? Yes. Great question, Mr. Wright. Wonderful question. Okay. So now what do we do? So what did I do from 2020 to 2022? I followed my game plan. I didn't know if it was going to work because it was like the first time I'd ever heard anybody talking about this in our realm, in the cryptocurrency space. It's like a lot of influencers in crypto are very rich during the bull run and they're scraping by during the bear market. They're pumping projects and shit like that to make money. I'm very proud to say we have never, ever accepted money from a cryptocurrency. We've been offered a shit load of money with, we have 2.2 million followers worldwide. We get 500,000 views a day across all platforms. We've been offered a lot of money to promote cryptos, have never been paid by a crypto company. So I want to say that, number one. So the reason why I bring that up is because when I exited, I started to build revenue streams, right? So business. So I multiplied my business acumen. I paid for coaching, and then I worked to create systems and process scale in my companies. So with the cash flow coming in, I did not buy a bigger house. I did not buy the Lambos. I did not buy the things. I actually took the money and put it right back into the market. So the markets collapsed. So now I have more cash generating assets because the businesses I created outside of cryptocurrency. From the business I created, I went back into cryptocurrency as it collapsed, and now I've been accumulating. Now that cycle is going to happen again. The difference is this time is I have multiple insurance policies set up to max fund. So now that's going to richest man in Babylon my money even more. So I'll explain. So this bull run, 2024 to 2026, I feel based on what I've accumulated, we all should do very, very well. So I'll have a large amount of profit. I'll pull 50% of that profit. I'm going to max fund my policies. Well, why would I do that? Because now my principal is guaranteed. I took house money from the casino and I guaranteed the principal with insurance, right? Study what banks do with their money, right? I put it into insurance. From there, I can borrow against the cash value, just like I was talking about with the real estate and Bitcoin. So now I'm richest man in Babyloning. If I put $50 into crypto, and I profited 100. I took $50, paid Uncle Sam. I put $50 into my policy. Now, eventually, within a year, whenever it's properly funded or properly set up, I can borrow against the cash value. So now I can borrow, and now I multiplied my money in 3 ways. And if I buy an asset with that, now I got more money. And then what I do is, basically, this is my rule and what I'm setting up for my family. This is a new rule I just put in place like the last 5 months. So, and hopefully this will make sense. So I have a certain net, which is debts and non-negotiables that I need to meet on a monthly basis in order to have my ecosystem the way it is, right? The home that I have, the support that I provide, all that stuff. Okay. So I made a new rule for myself, which is I believe is going to create generational wealth. So my net is what we need to make every single month in order to pay the mortgages, support everybody, do all the things I need to do. Okay. So I made a new rule for myself. Like there's things that I want, but I've done a good job with it. Instead of buying things that I want, I put money into assets to create cash to buy the things that I want. Okay. But what I'm going to do now is Intel. So it's a 3-step process. So I'm going to pull profits. I'm going to put it into my insurance policies. I'm going to get more cash generating assets. Until my assets can pay for my net, I cannot buy anything I want. Does that make sense? So no matter what my companies are generating or the ups and downs, inflation, new presidency, whatever it is, if my assets, properties, whatever it is, can pay for my net, then I'll start buying things I want. So think about that. Now I'll have assets, other people's money paying for my net. And then from there, I can buy an asset to pay for the things I want. So everything that I have or everything that I do is paid for by OPM, other people's money. And so it's a new rule that I created for myself. It's just because financial freedom to me is never thinking about money. It's where, you know, we were just traveling in Vegas for insurance conference, sitting down and having a dinner and going wherever you want and being able to take your whole team to dinner, things like that, or being able to write a check if something happens. That's the opportunity we have right now. You don't want to take these profits and buy Lambos and houses and a house, because a lot of people realize there's going to be people that make multimillionaires going to buy $1 million, $2 million home. You got to pay the taxes on that still, even if you pay cash. Right. So I think it's important that I explain that because that's what I changed. That's why my whole life has changed, because I got really disciplined. Now, do I do fun things? Absolutely. But I don't have, you know, both the cars that I drive are paid for by companies. And I think I would encourage everybody to become an entrepreneur. There's so many benefits to being an entrepreneur. You know, we're actually transitioning into a new realm. Went from LLC for my Freedom Asset Management Group. Now I'm going into a C Corp. Now, everything's going to run through my business. Everything we did for 2 years. So I have one of my companies is Freedom Asset Management Group. I ran it as an LLC. And then I'm learning the process. Huge tax bill in 2021, huge tax bill. What are we in 2020, 2022? Got a little bit better 2023. And then I was running all my assets through Freedom Asset Management Group. We had not switched it to a C Corp. I should have been paying myself salary, and I got a 15% extra tax hit. So I learned that, right? So now it's like getting complicated, but it's not that complicated once you get into it. So now Freedom is a C Corp. So I'm getting paid payroll through my C Corp now, right? Which eliminates that 15%. I think it's, I wish my CFO was on here. It's employment taxes, right? Then from there, I run everything to the business. So instead of paying 37% taxes personally, I'm going to pay 20 to 21% through the C Corp, right? And you just run everything through your C Corp. And then on top of all that, I have the Rockefeller Trust. And last year we built a foundation for, for actually, affordable housing and financial literacy. So there's a lot of cool stuff, man, that we all get to learn through this process. And hopefully this information helps. I'm just telling you guys exactly what I'm doing. So God bless you as well. Love you. That's how we do it. Let's go. Like bricks. Yes. What do you think about Casper? We just talked about that. Yeah, I don't have any exposure to it. How do you think XRP? I don't know, man. I have on my exit strategy based on Fibonacci. We think it could hit 14. I think it could hit 14. So that's just, if it doesn't, I don't exit. I think realistically 10. I really believe it can hit 10. 2025 European ID wallet crypto is the best way to make everyone feel safe. It's a great way to live in a positive mindset. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. Let's see here. Maybe conspiracy, but Federal Reserve gonna fall. Trump's relationship with Putin and Xi Jinping could lead America into joining BRICS and a new monetary system created. I will agree with your last sentence here. A new monetary system created 1000%. I've been saying this, and I believe that what's going to happen is Trump said 7 years ago that we're going to be on an even playing field, and you are 100% right. He has a great relationship with Putin and Xi Jinping. I wouldn't say great, but he has a very cordial relationship with them. And he said 7 years ago, we're going to be on an even playing field. Okay. Quicker than we know it. What does that mean? Is that I believe like the G7, BRICS, there's going to be an even monetary system, no longer a dominant currency. It's going to be even because it's going to move on a blockchain. There's going to be bags of currencies, and that's how they'll regulate the value of currency instead of America being the dominant currency. America's the only country that can just print their own money. Like, think about that. They're all tired of it, guys. And now again, the US dollar is not going to collapse. Other countries will collapse before the US dollar because most of their debt is denominated in US dollars, right? We're just in a really funky position right now. 50% debt to income ratio is a comfortable debt to income ratio. We're at over 100% in America, and the G7 as a total is over 100%. Okay. So Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and they're the whole country, man. Most countries are buried in debt. That we're not in the worst position in debt. I think, is it Japan or China? One of the two is horrendous amounts of debt, right? So the world is effed right now. So that's why I don't buy into these narratives, man. I think that I'm agreeing with you in so many aspects. That's why I don't get caught up in like what's going on. Like, it's like, where are they taking us? Like, let's really think about that. Where are they taking us? Right? I know we all want to believe. Sorry about that. I don't know how to turn it off on my freaking. I don't know if you guys can hear that ringing, but yeah. But I agree with you. I just think there's a bigger narrative happening, man. And so we got to just follow those waves of energy. That's why I have exit plans. Who knows what's going to happen? Go back and watch the BIS podcast from last month. Crypto is here to stay 100%. So BIS, just so you guys know, this gentleman is very smart. Jason is the Bank of International Settlements. That if you came from banking or understand banking, it is the bank of banks. Okay. Decision has been made. Augustine, BIS general manager, said everything will be tokenized 100%. Sometimes I can agree with you on that. But we are the matrix, man. We are coding the matrix. It's in our DNA. You know, we come from the womb, which is the matrix. You come into this hue of light, being a human, right? Your job is to master the darkness back into light. F everybody else. F what they're doing, dude. You master the darkness into light. You're a human. You can only see a certain hue of light, and you will unveil the light if your eye be single, your body filled with light. And it's not about being in the world. It's about being in the world, not of the world. And to tap into tune is to open up your pineal gland, which is to meditate, which is to control the thoughts, which is to concentrate, build a relationship, speak it into existence, right? No matter what's happening within the physical reality, you can control your emotions. Like, there's a very important thing happening right now. What they don't want us to know, that you are made in the likeness. I mean, you can manifest whatever you want. I'm walking, living, breathing proof of it. Like I said, we built financial freedom under Biden. You know, it didn't stop me, as everybody was waiting for Trump to jump out of a bush for the last 4 to 5 years. We were over here building wealth. It was like, hey, you might come out of a bush. Who knows? I mean, you know, he might come out and arrest everybody. I mean, how many times did I even talk about that shit in 2020? It was like everybody was getting arrested, right? It's like, who knows, man? Do you believe? Oh, I love this. This kind of goes into that narrative. Do you believe in the riddlers that XRP will be a flip of a switch moment where it shoots up $100, or do you think that won't happen? I'll give you my honest opinion. I think that they are riddlers for a reason, and I think there's a lot of faceless people out there for a reason. I just do. Like, why, if you really confidently believe that, why do you have to hide behind something? It's just my opinion. I put my face out here. I've said stuff. I have to eat crow if it goes south. No, I do not think, and I'll eat crow if I say this, but at least my face is out there, is it's not a flip the switch type moment. It's just not. It's a transition. There's not going to be one day you wake up and now, if the bull run goes parabolic, that's different. But is there someone behind a curtain that's like, all right, guys, hit it, boom? It's just, this is all stuff that people are creating, man. It's like, if you knew, like, we came from banking, man, and if you knew how deep these rabbit holes go and how long out these things are planned, I mean, the SEC versus Ripple case, it's like, come on, that is so planned out. It's unbelievable. So planned out. It's unbelievable. I mean, almost 4 years with one of the most well-run crypto companies. It's like Brad's over here like, dude, come on, get your shit together, dude. You got the freaking Mika already got global UAE, I can't say that, EU regulations ready to rock and roll. Like, we are the most innovative country. We can't get our shit together. So America got caught without swim trunks on. The tide went out, man. That's just what it was. It was just a lot of very egotistical, power hungry, money hungry people that got sloppy. It happens to people all the time, man. They get sloppy, they get rich, and they forget to maintain the system, and they got caught. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Hope Trump praises Jesus Christ for being a good person. Hope Trump praises Jesus Christ. Amen. Sup, Marvin? Got about 10 minutes left. Hey, Coach, just have to say I appreciate all you do. Thank you so much for reworking my brain. Appreciate you. Thank you, John. I appreciate that so much. I think the ecosystem will do very well. I do too, Omar. Yeah, I'm very optimistic about this, man. I have a very different outlook on all this, man. It's like, I'm just living life right now, man, enjoying my life. It's like, and it does not make me happy to see what's going on, but it's like, I just stopped waiting for a savior, man. I remember my great grandma was waiting for a savior. My grandma was waiting for a savior. And it's like, and Christ never said he was coming back in the physical. He came back. He's here. He's in us. He's embodied. And he's like, hey, wake up. You're awesome. Period. The end. Get your shit together. XLM. Absolutely love XLM. We have a lot of it. I have most of mine XRP, XLM on Nano Ledger. I have some right on Coinbase for quick sales when I'm ready. Hopefully this is good. Very similar setup as well. I don't think Coinbase is going anywhere, guys. Coinbase is part of the system, you know, unfortunately or fortunately, but I think I'd rather be on something that I feel safe and secure with than some off-brand exchange that's going to get shut down when regulation comes in. So yeah, very similar setup. I have most of mine on Coinbase. I have crypto.com, Coinbase, and Kraken. I really, really enjoy Kraken. A couple reasons is me and my CFO have practiced, because one of the biggest concerns we had was getting it off the exchanges, right? Or larger amounts, because, you know, in Coinbase or whatever it is, crypto.com, you can transfer 25,000 a day or something like that. So imagine all of a sudden you get this big hit and you got 1.5 million sitting there in your exchange, and maybe you put it into fiat or a stable coin. And it's like, well, how the hell do I get this into my bank account to transact and do things with or pay my taxes, right? So we had a thing that we needed to move a larger amount of cryptocurrency to pay some taxes, and we practice with Kraken. So Kraken is great if you build a good relationship with them. You can do larger wire transfers. We moved, you know, a large amount, close, I think it was close to 6 figures, off of Kraken, and we're able to transact with our bank, which I thought was very favorable. They're also chartering to be a bank. I think that's important for you guys to practice, making sure your relationship is solid with your bank, because that's, but another thing that may come about is where Coinbase becomes a bank, Ripple becomes a bank. And so you may not even have to create an extra bank account, right? So when you go to buy a home and you need a down payment, you might be able to transact fully through Coinbase, right? Yeah. So smart cities, Internet of Things, carbon neutral. Yep. Yeah, it's been here. Miguel's nailed it. I mean, it's, you know, it's Agenda 2030. You'll own nothing and be happy. Now, that's something that you guys should take freaking serious, man. I mean, people are like, oh, they're not going to do that to me. And the same person that's saying that is renting an apartment. They have a 74-month loan on their auto loan. They have a cell phone that they've never paid off because they keep getting a new cell phone, right? Everything they do is rented, basically. You're already renting everything. And then home affordability is going to be unbelievably unaffordable in the next 10 years. So yeah, it's coming true. So what do you do about it? You get rich and you get wealthy and you get resources, so you don't have to deal with that shit. That's what I said to myself. I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and wait for another president to come back in 4 years. I'm going to make sure I get my family set up. And we did. It's like, that's what money represents to me. When I went out to Peru, my Chase, who does our guided meditation, guided plant medicines out there, he's always asked me, what does money mean to you? I said, freedom, man. Sit in a garden in Peru with you for 14 days, the access to be able to get on a flight and do that and not have to worry about, am I going to get paid in the next couple of days, right? So that's what financial freedom means to me. Being able to write a check if something happens to my family, that's financial freedom. So yeah, thank you, Bert. I think so too. The QFS is garbage shit, man. I'm sorry. Like, it has to be a scam. There's no QFS account. I think it's a scam to get your XRP, to be honest with you. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I would be very careful with who you send your crypto to. It's simple. Hold as much XRP in the thousands as you think you will need. How much money will you need? Yep. Is anyone getting dusting on their ledger? Dusting on their ledger. What are your thoughts on Flare? Good, bad, or need to do? Oh, Flare's fantastic, man. Flare is absolutely fantastic. Like, Flare's gonna be huge. XRP, XLR, and Ethereum. My beard is longer than you, JV. I love it, dude. I gotta send you some beard oil, brother. Let me know. Hit us up. We'll get you some beard oil. That's I got lots of beard oil here. Get on the show, Stefan. Love it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. Let's see. Do you think there'll be, this is really fun, by the way, guys. I really am enjoying this. So, and again, I'll be traveling next week. So the only time I won't be on here is if I'm traveling. I do a lot of traveling, but I think we're going to be pretty stable for August. September, we have our retreat. Yeah, I think we'll be pretty stabilized for all, which is awesome. Do you think there'll be a buyback or rug pull on XRP? Some accounts stating to join. No, I wouldn't do that. Are the same accounts saying XRP is a scam? Oh, ironic. And be used only by governments. That's ironic, right? No, I don't think so. I mean, like, why would there, like, everybody's getting caught up in these conspiracies and stuff like that. XRP is just a bridge currency. It has a phenomenal solve, and it's already being used in institutions all over the world. Like, look up SBI. You know, like, it's that's why I got into it. It's a phenomenal solve for the banking system. And it's not going to be, David Schwartz said it, and I'm going to butcher what he said, but it was at XRP Las Vegas. He was like, guys, like being tribal about this. He's like, XRP is just one part of the ecosystem, right? And I'm butchering what he said, but I think the concept, what he was talking about, and I'll just speak it in my truth. So I don't want to butcher what he said, but this is what I got from it. So like, you know, you have Apple, you have Samsung. My CFO uses Samsung. I use Apple. You have XRP, you have XLM, you have other bridge currencies, right? You have JPM coin, you have Onyx, right? And people get so tribal about these things, but is it beneficial or a good sound decision to own something that, number one, they beat the shit out of the SEC? Number two is Ripple doesn't need to IPO. We're in a pre-IPO. They don't need to IPO, guys. Their pockets are deep, right? They have a real board of directors, real leadership team. If you look at their board of directors, they're so connected to the government. It's like, okay. And then people are like, it's going to be a banker coin. Everything is a effing, like, who knows when we figure out who started Bitcoin? Like, Ethereum's deep in the banking system. Like, anything that has to do with monetary, it's running. They're part of the system. They're just trying to figure out how to get us to run it through and pay our taxes. And it's like, you know, so I'm a single mom. I have about $5,000 to invest without putting my kids in danger of being homeless. Okay. Where would you put that money as a big investment? Whew, it's a tough one, man. Well, cryptocurrency is liquid, right? If I had $5,000, this is not what you want to hear, because I would invest it in education and self-development and a mentor. That's what I did. Alex Ramosi was one of my first that I spent 16 grand on, and made me a millionaire. Just his system made me a millionaire, because I followed he took all the blueprint, he condensed it, and I followed his plan. And that was my first 7-figure ecosystem. I'm like, okay. So now anytime I need something for the next level, I invest in myself, because that can never be taken from you. Okay. So that's the Coach JV, way of saying it. If I had $5,000, I would allocate it. I'd put some in Bitcoin, put a little bit in Bitcoin. I would take a risk on XRP, maybe some XLM. I'd diversify it across there, and I would just hold it. I would even, maybe when it goes up next year, I'd pull my initial investment and I would just hold it. And I'd let that be you and your kids' retirement. Then on top of that as well, is I would really start to study books like Cash Flow Quadrant. I would figure out other opportunities for you to create income for them. We're always looking for new licensed agents on our team, just so you guys know. One of the fastest growing insurance teams within the organization. So we're always looking for new licensed agents. We can train you. You got to look for other ways to create income for your family. So hopefully that helps. Not financial advice. That's just what I would do. Realize that if you take the D out of devil, yes, you get evil, and the G out of God, you get good. Amen. I love that. Yep. Do you see a bad crash before all time? I hope so, man. I know I'm the opposite of everybody else. Man, I hope there'll be a bad crash. I hope it bottoms out, man. I'm like, please give me better buying opportunities. I really hope there'll be some sort of black swan that just makes this shit plummet, man. That's my hopes and dreams. Man, I'm over an hour now. This is really fun. XRP, legitimate coin. Absolutely. I agree with that. So I'll answer a couple more questions. 100,000 Bitcoin by December. I don't know. I think that could be possible. We have it going to 188,000 next year based on Fibonacci. Should I continue to stack H bar? I'm almost at 8K H bar. My goal is to get to 10K. I'm currently trying to get to 10 QNT. I'm about at 4 right now. Well, the way that I live my life, you set a goal, hit your 10K, man. Get after your 10K, right? And then go after the QNT, right? So if you set a goal, hit it, and then go to the QNT. So that's what I just, me personally, if I set a goal, I want to follow through with it. So my goal is to have a certain amount of Bitcoin by the end of 2024, and I'm on track for it. So I'm a little behind, and so that's why I'm praying for these big dips. JB, will the ISO 20002 projects be part of this cycle? I think everything will be part of the cycle, to be honest with you. I think you'll see, I do, because of the narrative around the financial system and the switch in the financial system. I think the ISO tokens will do pretty well. Your opinion on XTC? I think it's a great project. I don't have exposure to it. I don't have access to it. I don't have it in my portfolio, but I think it's a phenomenal project. We're very good friends with Quincy, who's one of the developers. Phenomenal project. I'm inspired by your Peru journey. This will be the last one I'll answer here, so I do have to jump off. I get to jump off. Sorry, weak language. I have been inspired by your Peru journey and wondering if you ever explored the masculine archetype, like divine masculine, king, warrior, lover, magician. I think so. Like I've been really focusing on divine masculine. And hopefully maybe if you check out my Refined Integrity channel, that might help you see where I'm heading with that. Really working to become a divine masculine man. I got a lot of work to do. I had a lot of trauma that I had to heal as a broken little boy. But I'm really proud of the work that I've done over the past 4 years, specifically to heal the broken little boy inside and to really find that truth and essence of who I truly am, which is JV. I'm a powerful individual. I'm a good father. I'm a good CEO. And it makes me feel good to be able to look in this camera and say that to you guys rightfully. You know, I really know who I am. And so divine masculine to me is authenticity, unconditional love, and full gratitude for all the things being presented to me. And so if you guys want to check out my Refined Integrity channel, it is my spiritual channel. If you go down to the the recommended channels on this YouTube channel, you'll see it out there. It's one of our fastest growing channels, which is so cool, man. I think some of the stuff is triggering people, but that's not my intentions at all. I'm just speaking about my own truth and my own walk with Christ. And when people ask me, how did your life change so much? Christ Jesus, man. I don't know what else to tell you, but other than following the principles of Christ Jesus, not religion, but relationship. And, you know, the Christ Jesus that I follow wasn't a religion. He was relationship with people. And, you know, I think if I saw him face to face, number one, I'd be extremely humbled. Number two is I think he would tell me that I'm more like him than I am apart. And he would tell you that as well. And I think everything we're looking for is already within us. And I think everything we're trying to figure out, we're just trying to remember who we truly are. So I'll leave you with that. As we always say, warriors, rise, get your shit together. Love you guys.